Go big or go busted.
heir to the Earl of Sandwich, and her family at Acton House in Dorset. Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Viscountess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses.
What does that mean? Is that good? I see how it is, dog. Bishop Conflict might be raising stakes a little.
And how many rooms does the It's just
$4.
it isn't almost an attractive toilet.
Don't be wasting that college fund, man. Baby drive. Don't need a plan B.
And you can learn something from a friend who keeps his mouth shut and his eyes open.
Haddington Castle was built around 1140 by Jason's ancestor, Aubrey de Vere, Lord Great Chamberlain of England, and has witnessed the turbulence of medieval English history.
Like his graph.
This bridge is going over. I always question about bridges because I think that they've been here for centuries.
Well, this was a drawbridge originally.
How much caffeine have you had?
But this is replacing the 90s.
Sorry, ladies, it's slow. Not be slow. You think Magnus got what he was saying by taking it easy? Huh?
No,
after Bosworth and after
He ain't you.
third of into pieces. And he built this amazing Tudor castle all around here.
Yeah, that's the sound of me not giving a damn.
Brick walls all the way around the outside of the stadium.
In a magnificent Tudor palace.
Looks like it's time.
You have to imagine all
Keep your
this
phone
full of
handy, man,
buildings,
'cause
this
tonight's
huge
gonna get
complex
real
of
busy.
buildings within a wall.
See that?
Wow, this is incredible to walk here. And what king was here? What queen?
So we've had Queen Matilda, we've had Henry VII, Henry VIII, this was the first.
Yeah, we've also had Queen Emma of Hawaii. Did you? There was a queen of Hawaii before it became part of the United States in about 1860. Oh yeah, that would be good. So, wow. This is the baby where we know you guys okay. Right. Standing right top of the dungeon. Oh, the dungeon is down there. And this is the girls. Oh my gosh, and that which would be
Oops. There goes my water.
It's very easy to pull policy. Normally it would have been what's the answer, and then pull policy would have been kind of like pulled up through.
Yeah, 12,000. That's not bad. Could use that to go towards buying a Lamborghini Aventador, which is 192,000. Ow.
And then you might want to have a cup of coffee in the morning. So you have to come and
Finish my volcano noodles.
you know what is the best bit about it is that it's so historically left us students. They were amazing, and they're
Yeah, enough. Okay, that should be enough.
Yes, and so doing something like this gives people the experience, and then they really understand it. And you both did this. So the thought process was walking it through, because of course we're historic hospital owners, we're always kind of think, right, we've got to prepare for the roof or the leaks or whatever the next big project is. We're always thinking project, how can I bring in more income to help support these projects in order to confirm this key?
Well, our real moment was when we put heating using biomass boiler, because there were grants to do that in 2015.
Yes.
So a little scary, we jumped in, had a huge amount of digging through earthworks, archaeologists watching, got heating in the first time in 900 years. And we didn't know how it was going to react with it, because, you know, with lightning water, if we really careful with all the flints and everything. Anyway, it seemed to be fine.
Yes,
Drying
yes.
out the way.
Because it's so warm and cozy.
Well, this was done because the installation is never been insulated, because this is all rebuilt out of fire in 1924. So it's all pretty sturdy. So
Yeah.
you have to jump. You wouldn't normally do that in a modern building, but and we were allowed to do very delicate restoration for all the alcoves and things. And then we went to a box company, and we were amazing boxing things. A lot of these are in the TV thing, Merlin.
Okay, yes.
And Knight's Tale, with some of the chandeliers downstairs.
Right.
And that film.
What I absolutely love is that this was rather lovely because we've got this incredible sort of, you know, only 6 nights on something, and it's still going to sort of, they gave us practically the materials for this, because we couldn't have sort of modern looking material. We went through all our areas and found the most traditional things, and it had to look like patchwork.
Yes, yes.
Because then it looks right.
Yes, of course.
So that was rather nice sort of local
And you go tonight. Wow. Incredible. I mean, like, I'm going to send you photos. Here I am having some of your gin. In the bar. I might not send you a glass photo, but... next room, because you're going to give me a little tour, yes? Come down to the back.
So this is the room that the July over, because this is the widest Norman art, domestic architecture in Western Europe.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have a lot of questions. Because it almost looks like it's dividing the two. Was it dividing it at one point or no?
We're not.
There's a bit of damage to this, so it may have been divided at one point, but we don't think it was permanently divided. But this being the Bantam Hall, all about status, being this high up in the building, we have this incredibly dramatic, a little bit sense of theatre coming up there. The Earl of Oxford would
The
sit.
Earl would have sat here next to the fire. So he would have been here. And then
You
rather
can
than
be the
being
Countess, I don't be the
Yeah.
Countess, and you can be the Earl.
I'll be the Earl. Okay. And can you be the henchman?
Okay.
This one is 24,000
Would that be okay?
something.
So the reason for having steps coming up and having additional bit of steps as you come in the room is so that you were out of breath when you arrived at the end. So it was all about slightly wrong footing you. So that you were subservient to him, because he would be sitting there totally relaxed and he'd be going, you know, like this. And so you wouldn't be allowed to approach to sort of there, have your audience. And if you got a little bit uppity, unbeknown to him, because he literally can't see, in that alcove, the reason that alcove is there is that the henchman would be sitting in that alcove, and if there was a problem going to happen, then you can come out there.
So that's what it was for.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible? So all these bits of architecture, and actually with the decoration, you know where you are and which door to go through and all the rest of it, because the door to go through is more decorated than the other door, which which is the sort of exit door.
But I feel in here, the banqueting hall, there's so many, you've got the henchmen there, but there's so many entrances and exits, in, or sort of cubby holes, or whatever, little movements. They all have
Well,
They all have different
there's that was the officer chapel, so the royal chapel, private chapel in that one.
Right.
He's got the longer, the guardrobe, which is the old-fashioned version of the loo, which was a passage that dropped nearly 70 foot down to the ground, where it was dug out and then taken back up the vessel and then spread on fields by a man called the Don Carmel, rifle job, and where everything sat. The quite long period was next to the food and the rats. So the level of hygiene in here was a shocker. You can have some dogs, you've got hay, you've got people chucking bones over their shoulders, a classic kind of really sort of charged men who had been at battle or been on a crusade. They were hardcore. Imagine the smell. These were hardcore men. They never washed.
And actually, the fireplaces, which would have been roaring, obviously, there was no chimney. They hadn't invented chimneys yet, although, of course, in Roman times they had invented chimneys. But what they had got wrong here was that the chimney goes out horizontally just above the floor. And so they didn't roar. So in fact, the whole room would have been slightly filled with smoke. But they think that was quite a good thing, because it would have just simply
killed the lice.
And the stone carvings everywhere.
This time, so we talk about proportion and balance. This was one stone mason who was very good at this particular pattern. And this is from 1100. That one over there was by another stone mason. They didn't replicate this. And we were talking to the main fireplace in the castle. They would have perfect balance. But no, this was Stephen of Sudbury. He was very good at this shape. Billy from Braintree. And they just kind of act away and no one minded. And it's rather amazing because this room was built for royalty, essentially coming to massive state banquets, because this was pinnacle. With this family, this was the sort of top level for the palace. Right. So the king was courtly come here, huge wrestling room. You had a massive banquet up there. You have to think of this out there with the Tower of London. Absolutely, it was creme de la creme of society that come up those stairs in the early 1st century. You imagine the minstrels playing down, huge trestle tables, lots of people, dogs, the noise, and the music. It was, amazing place for entertainment.
And public for weapons and public for bags. That's so fantastic. Because it's replicating sort of what happened, hundreds of years ago.
So lucky that this didn't collapse in the fire. That was, it was extraordinary that it survived. It was incredibly intense fire. Nearly 100 years ago.
And how much of the story?
All the floors, all the roof, a lot of the iron that was there, storage from the family collection, and the house was in there for safekeeping, because it's the First World War, 1418.
Essentially, it became a show. Everything was just burnt inside, because they didn't get any uniform instruction. It's sort of like,
for me, I wouldn't even know that all of that. That's what's quite impressive, because how you restore it is fantastic. I mean, these floors.
Well, it was amazing. So in 1985, they were spotting Zeppelins with the new terror. Terror of bombardment of London. They were sending them over from Germany and throwing missiles out of the Zeppelins in London. Everyone was just happy terrified. So there'd been no area comeback or bombs before. So they were coming over Essex. And sometimes they'd overshoot the Thames and come up there. And so they were on the roof spotting those Zeppelins. And they knocked a little fire crazily that had given them warning. And spread the whole building and over top of the chimney. And they couldn't find horses to connect to the power plant. Eventually they got them so the whole place was left to burn. And by 1924 they decided to rebuild it. Ministry of Works, who were the sort of government early version of English heritage. And so we've got incredible solar beams, otherwise we've got our 18th century beams. And if you go back, you would wobble.
Right.
And so it would be a massive, multi-million pound, £20 million restoration. Because they tried
to get the infrastructure in place.
Which is
the power.
But they realised how important building was then. Which is the pre kind of listing.
Exactly.
It's the 1950s. And they said, no, we've got to go for it. And the country was incredibly poor.
I was about to say, but that's what's really critical is because this is before any historic housing studies can really open up from the public. We were instead demolished.
Pulling them
down. But yet they thought, no, this is so important. We have to make sure that we preserve it and that it can be used.
They've been blown up, having one or two, right here, we lost 2 or 3,000. And it's incredibly rare.
Well, I'm so happy because I just come to mind.
We'll see about it tomorrow.
Okay, this is so fast. Now we're here, we're going to come back to the supper. But we're not on the ground floor.
There's 2 more floors. Yeah, just be careful on the way down. They're quite steep.
Come to the, we're going to go to the garrison floor next.
The transformation of this 900-year-old building into a modern event space and wedding venue is breathtaking.
This is the garrison floor in the armory. Okay, just through those curtains is the main entrance. Right. So if you were in normal system, this is as far as you've got to your feet. So you will never sink. It's the higher stages you are, the higher you go up. So the being a black campus, I could go. You can all have a little bit.
It's quite low, but
It's supposed to be quite good.
we're not allowed.
That's the difference. So again, you have this great, another amazing arch.
An amazing arch as well. And that's
You could only do this because the thickness of the walls. So later on, technology became flying buttresses, so they got thin walls. But you could only build an arch like this because you've got massive buttresses to hold them in. Otherwise, they would
Take
just
the
sit around.
outside walls.
And these exist. They the huge beams you want there. And then you'll see downstairs we have hollowed out the beam and put in a 3.5-pound steel under this floor, so that we could get rid of the supporting wall below that.
I see. And actually what we use this room now for, which is really cool, I mean this just shows how these buildings have to adapt. This is where if you have a wedding completely in a keep rather than going over to the marquee and the house, this becomes a nightclub. And it's really cool, all the alcoves go different colours. And we call it Norman's the nightclub on the beach. And that's the bar, exactly. And what's amazing is that during COVID, because we didn't have anyone here, because everything stopped dead, Jay said, right, this is the moment to refloor this floor because people's heels were going through the original pine floor.
Okay.
So it was really important that we did it. He's the carpenter.
So I was about to say, so you did this for...
I was the bad builder, yes.
Did you?
So, but actually the joy is, I can stand on the beam.
Right.
Doesn't it work?
And it on the ACDC.
So you can have 100 people dancing here.
Jason, you did this for...
I did this for you, yes.
And he's very handy. He made the bar out of the bed heads. I do the sewing.
Well, I was about to say that I was looking around and looking at all of these beautiful designs and these enormous curtains. You can sew.
I
Yes, actually, one of the things I actually do want to learn.
incredibly zen sewing.
You can really, but how long does it take you?
Well, probably quite a long time. I mean, maybe it took me 2 days to do. Because you want to cut out all the...
So you're cutting... Okay, wait, so Demetra, you did all of these.
Yeah.
You cut... Yes.
And what is amazing, these are scraps from the house, and this is 18th century toolwork.
Yeah, lovely tool.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get a dump of every dust,
Yeah.
So you have to be careful, but you can't be too precious.
Yeah, no, you
And then you have to use it. They were old curtains that were just not even and stuff, so I just cut down the
That
hole.
is so good. And so here, these
Well, you see, in these alcoves, you're allowed to put loops. And so it's rather amazing.
But the plumbing.
Complicated, 100-foot up, and so we've got a fake. This is our conduit, which is obviously
Yes, I see.
painted, and we have to run all the conduits and the heating and the plumbing and the electrics.
And then I see you got a grant. which is great.
Amazing. They've been fantastic. Historic Houses Foundation.
Yes.
They don't have paperwork of the government grants and we don't have chapter reviews. And will trust us as private owners to look after these buildings.
Let me show you one more floor. Because we've got the tapestry room to go.
So in my bedroom, I can come down here tonight too.
Yeah, you can use everywhere. I can love that, sorry. That's stories. Yeah.
So this is what we call the tapestry room.
Okay.
But actually, originally this was the storeroom. So we are now downstairs. We wouldn't have been able to get into this room from the outside. Which
Okay.
we can now, but we'll show you that in a minute. So this is the room that we now use for banquets and that's for the
Okay,
weddings.
for the wedding.
It's too difficult to get food and drink and the banquet hall. So we have a trailer that comes past outside the kitchen trailer and they have a fantastic party for 70 or 80 people in here. And we'll just walk through.
So what did you have to do to this floor then?
Gosh, so this is a new floor. Jace has been
Again, this was
Fitted floor.
recycled from Southland Care
Yeah.
for the inside. And we dug down and there was a massive wall holding the beam here.
Okay.
We went all the way across. We were allowed to take out, you can see the sort of marks
Yes,
here.
I can. Yes, I can.
And we were allowed to take it out and we hollowed out this beam and put in 3.5 pounds of steel down the middle, bolted it together. And again, that was another grant from the Historic Houses Foundation.
As was all the sprinklers that we've done, so we've done a huge amount of restoration here because it was over time just dropping the temperature in the roof, which it doesn't seem much in the scheme of things, but you know, you want it to be there another Let me show you the thickness of the room.
Yeah, but first I'm just going to admire once again, put in front of me, these are really.
I did. But actually,
How did you?
well, there's all lots of pieces of material that we found in the attics, and my mother-in-law was amazing at keeping everything, and so these are old patterns that have just been
How
put
did you
together.
decide to design and use the template? But you
Yes.
drew the template.
I just drew the template and sort of made it up as I went along. Really?
Brilliant. But what was your inspiration? Did it just? It's so
Well, so these are from Perugia. There's an amazing medieval hall in Perugia, Italy, and so I then painted those two.
Okay,
And so
so
this is the De Vere shield, and that's the England shield, and we've got the Essex shield over there, etc. So, but these shields are really fascinating because these are all they're 25 shields in the room, and they're all the earls or the barons who bullied King John into signing the Magna Carta.
okay.
And we finished this restoration, this bit of restoration in 2015. And so we were celebrating that at the time.
Right.
Have a look at how predictable it is. So this was just
Oh my
a
goodness.
way through the Georgians pushed through this wall. So we can
Right.
go out to different
Oh, you
places.
did. So the Georgians pushed through here.
They wanted to use this for timber storage because they had to sign it.
It's quite a grand garage, really.
It was
Yeah.
a poly. Poly area. So they chiseled this by hand, knocked it down, and we were pushed really hard. Yeah.
Give it up. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Rattle.
Right.
Here we are outside. So we're now back on the ground floor.
This is fantastic.
We'll let you out.
Yeah, thank you
Unlike
so
the
much.
other days.
No, I'm going to be back up there anyway. Promise to let me out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that was just wonderful, but it's just, it is a magnificent building. It really is.
What a spectacular space for a wedding. The historic atmosphere and drama of the building is mesmerizing. And to have the option to stay too, although I'm a little nervous of being in such a vast historic building alone overnight. As we made our way back to the house, Jason was keen to show me the stunning grounds.
Wow. And the sun is out. I mean, this is a slice of heaven.
It's extraordinary. There's a secret compartment So we have, it's private that we share for the weddings, but it's sort of, you have a full jazz going on there. And then we can be here and you have the most of it.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and it looks very manageable.
We try, we don't have enough resources, so our really stretched team just kind of cope. We try and not have herbaceous borders, and it's pretty woolly and wild, low lavender.
I love it.
They've got the bottom
Right.
cherries in there.
Do you?
And hydrangeas. We put a fountain in a few years ago. This was the original turning circle.
Okay.
You're right here.
That's right.
All that now is extraordinary that it's turned into garden. So, yeah.
And when this was sort of the main entrance, were there other gardens somewhere else?
Well, I'm not really sure. It's never formally designed, but it's a landscape that's evolved, obviously, over the last 10 years. And we know that this was created in the sort of early 1900s when they moved the drive basically from here to around there, and then this became garden. So it sort of, it never massive garden.
These wonderful gardens open out to reveal a beautiful lakeside setting.
So this was built out of a fish pond to get the sound and possibly the clay for the castle. They need the sound for line water. They dug with ponds, and this way 3 to 5 ponds that were left over that were then used for fish ponds in the 12th, 13th century.
Right.
And then in the 18th century, they said, let's knock them through into this, so it's then grown into this.
And did they still then fish there in the 18th century?
Well, I don't know if they had it as fish food, but in the Norman times, apparently they would have a tank on the roof of the castle. And in the siege of King John, apparently they were throwing fish down on King John's men, just to wind them up. And they possibly had the fish from here fill in the fish tank. And then they just lob them down just to wind them up. It's a famous story. And so it then became picturesque, and then it's much more capable to brownish in the early 1760s.
Okay, yeah.
Spring garden, and then it's quite sort of scruffy and sort of scruffy picturesque.
Ideal.
The gardens at Hennigan are a tapestry of different atmospheres, with the Gall Garden forming a magnificent backdrop for the 18th century dovecote.
This is very sort of work garden.
This is lovely. So who did this?
Well, this is what's here. We're just trying to dig out this pond over
It's
here.
fantastic.
And that's the dovecot.
So that's the dovecote.
And that's the dovecot.
Fine.
Well, they were incredibly got a grant from the Historic Houses Foundation.
Right.
The Country House Foundation, because it couldn't fall apart.
Okay.
And they're quite rare because people stopped feeding pigeons or whatever was in them in the 1840s because the price of wheat. So they all fell apart and no one wanted to feed them. But this, I think because it was private garden and picturesque, they kept it. And we saved it just in time.
Tissue. And how long did that work take to restore
They
it?
were here for a year or so.
Yeah.
Take out all tie pins, knock out the roof and sort of early 90s. I mean, this is what I mean, this is
Yeah. Oh gosh, I didn't even notice this. This is madness.
yeah.
Oh.
Kids who go and have to stop and go in, so
Great.
literally kind of making fast, but it's quite fun when the kids are young, you're inside and screaming at them like a barrel.
This is
So, this is the dovecot.
I love the big one. I do. You know, everybody.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah, everybody. So, do the doves still come?
No, we're trying to keep them out.
Right.
Because we've bolted them back together
Okay.
to hold them up. But the original nesting boxes, we've lost the entire wool layer of them.
Oh, yes.
And this
Okay.
post was what the ladder would go on. So it would swivel around,
Yeah.
and then you go up and get the legs out.
And what was the purpose, though, of originally of dovecotes? Was that
Food. So you either got
food?
the rest of the birds,
Right.
or you've got the eggs. There's no fridges, obviously. You might have an ice house to keep the food
Yeah.
cold during the summer. ice was taken off the lake and put in a hole in the ground on an ice house. We've never found ice.
Right.
But basically it's the equivalent of a fresh meat trailer system.
Our culinary tastes may have changed, but as the evening light drew in, we prepared to feast in the banqueting hall of the keep, just as the Earls of Oxford had done centuries before. Dining by candlelight in such wonderful company rounded off a fantastic day at the castle.
Okay.
What an amazing building! I could really feel the centuries of rich history.
You're
And under Demetra and Jason's guidance, this incredible castle has been transformed into a venue for the 21st century, whilst remaining true to its medieval roots. But how would it feel to spend the night?
Gucci.
Good night, everybody. I'm heading to my return in the 900-year-old Roman keep. And yes, I am excited, and I'm not scared. See, my commander is a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous only because I'm by myself. So, but that's just all in my head. I'll try to breathe through that, should be fine. But also, it's almost, you almost can't even think, or I can't think, like, wait, what? I'm staying in a 900-year-old keep, and this is where kings and queens have visited and stayed. King Henry VII, King Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I, all been here. And that, to me, is something that's hard for me to get my head around, because I'm not just visiting this place, this vast structure, I'm actually staying here tonight. And then I hear bits and noises. There's like a little bit of flickering at that point. Did you see that? Flickering? The old thing. Totally.
Gucci, enough.
And this was built
Enough!
to fend from invaders, so I should feel very safe in here. This is here to protect me. And it will. I'm totally fine with it. Okay, I'm just gonna switch off. I'll see you guys in the morning. I will be here in the morning. Fingers crossed. Staying the night in a 900-year-old castle was certainly an experience. But wow, the sense of rich history was all around. After experiencing the drama of the medieval keep, it's lovely to be in the homely surroundings of Jason and Demetra's beautiful Georgian mansion.
So welcome to the house. This is where we live. This is the hall. This is the part of the house.
Now I can see the big sash windows, so
Yes.
this is, proper Georgian house. Remind me again when this was built.
So it's a little confusing because this is we used to be the front door here. It's all about status, so you travel for days, sitting in the back of a really uncomfortable carriage.
Where how is it?
Anyway, not on the motorbike. So you turned out there pretty exhausted, and if you had made some money, you wanted everyone to arrive at the grand facade of the house. So that is the standard 7-day Georgian Queen Anne period, which is we've got there. And we wanted everyone to look at the facade. And coming here, this was a stone flagstone. Floor, very Georgian, and in about 1900 they decided to sort of turn it into more of a drawing room. So make it much more informal. And when we came here, my cousin had everyone was desperate in the sort of 20th century 1950s, post-Second World War, didn't know how to make
She didn't live here, or did
She
you?
lived here.
Is that good?
So it's very fun to spend time with people. My father inherited in 1980 when she died. So I was age 12 when we first came here. And it was pretty derelict, all the larger curtains matched, all the colours were in, the roofs were leaking, and no one was living near the house.
It's what?
And in the 90s, I had a huge
What's
family.
BAS?
And it's just a wonderful party house for my brothers and sisters. And my parents were very generous. They lived in Dorset. So we could have first base after that, yeah.
The what?
Exactly.
But they were very clever because they hid all the time and everything.
What chateau?
Right, they knew. And yes, there's a lot of
So all we had to do was really sort of get the heart back. It wasn't destroyed. There were kind of doors in the cellar and panelling where the lift shaft had been in the cellar. It'd been sort of kept, and there was enough furniture just to kind of still create this beautiful home.
Okay.
I inherited it in 1998.
Right.
We got married in 2003, moved here in 2004.
And raised your family.
They've all been doing
So
Use the bathroom.
that is lovely. And this is, just even listening to this story
Mom.
right now is,
Gotta use the bathroom, I gotta go pee.
Continue. Your family, the original, your original descendants, if you like, were here 900 years ago, because you do descend.
It's a bit mad. We were sort of related through my family over the years of people. My parents were Scottish. All the aristocracy in those days married.
Okay,
So
where is
they
it?
all kind of knew each other. So, and everyone was incredibly kind of possessive about who their children married. It was all sort of arranged marriages.
Yes, yes,
And amazingly, so we're related to the descendants of those who built this house.
yes,
And the
Mom, I think you're on it.
who built the castle.
yes,
I think you're on the beanbag
You
thing.
can actually trace it all the way back.
exactly.
Those branches.
900 years, that's
Yeah.
I gotta use the bathroom.
A lot of the good stuff got sold, all the chipware got sold, and the White got sold, and Gainsborough's got sold, but we have got about 6 generations from the original Ashurst. He was Lord Mayor of London in the 1690s, and he bought this place for his second son.
okay.
He bought a nice old castle that would make the family a bit posh, elevated status.
Yeah, right.
And people in fact were rude about new mansions, but this, in 1719, was a brand new mansion.
Right.
And he had the old castle. Horace Walpole, who was brother of the Prime Minister. He was a social commentator, and he said Mr. Ashurst bought himself a trunk in a new house and was very snobbish about it. But actually, classic Georgian. I mean, this has become the generic building style for millions of houses across England.
It's so
Red brick, 7-bay, and they've got lovely height, the ceilings are sort of 50 foot.
And the paint color, you can feel the colorway, it's amazing, just lovely.
And it's got, private houses are sort of shabby chic. They've got kind of worn out here.
Yeah.
So it's not and it's had layers of history. So the fact the flag stamps are playing, it's just a lovely thing. We've now got a parking floor.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad, because otherwise it would be really cold.
Yes,
When there's a nice chip on the skirting, it's because someone's crouched into it with a bicycle.
Right.
Rather than...
And it's a story. And that's a story. It's a story. Well, lovely room. And then, where else should we go?
Well, I think we should go to Ashurst Room. And this is named after the family who built this house.
Okay.
The house. And this was the old Georgian dining room. But when we got here, it didn't look like this at all. It had dark purple walls. So when Natasha was born, and I couldn't really do anything other than look.
Like, this is the first room in the
Yes, and I was exploring Sudbury and came across things for silk. And eventually said to them, well, why do you not sell around? And they said, because sometimes, the loom's not busy, or someone returns something that they didn't want to,
Just
change
come round
it,
and done it for a long
colour.
time, done 2 colourways, doesn't like that one, they keep the other one.
And so I came home and thought about it, we always wanted a silk room. So anyway, I asked them if they would play ball, so they sold us house at cost so that they could come to parties and show off, which
It was a bartering idea, they were having a party, but we were bartering. So we got so
it was amazing. And Jay's, I think you got a stapler, didn't you?
yeah, we were sort of,
You hung this.
yeah, we sewed it together.
So you put battens out and then you put sort of curtain interlining so the room becomes white to look a bit like a padded cell. And then you hang the silk.
And this bit from here to here is actually 12 widths of silk.
I cannot believe you did this.
But literally, people, we have to put this up, which is perspex, because everyone with their sticky fingers
Yes,
after having
of
a
course.
wedding here. But what's this? And in fact, you can see that it's material.
You stitched it.
All of these together.
With a machine.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But don't you think it's beautiful? And this is a really ancient colour that Gainsborough gave us, that sort of lovely Georgian.
And it's very 18th century. So this is, if we were stinking rich, you would have had silk on the walls. But not in, this has to be north facing, because it would last about 5 years.
It's pure
Right.
Chips,
Right,
they only
so
have one or
perfect, so you
two.
don't have the-
No,
Yeah.
I only had one or two chips. And nothing! Okay.
This is a really fun painting.
Sit down!
It must
Yep.
be really about people with new houses. But this, the Ashursts who made a lot of money in London, turning up in their Ferrari,
Yes, look at that.
or their
Very,
Chevrolet, brand, with their brand new,
Yeah.
men with their horses and livery, brand new cars, the ancient castle. And now it's all considered London, so it's dated, but in those days, brand new.
Yes.
But it's a real insight.
Clean up your fucking mess! Okay. Fucking pig.
So I'm surrounded by the ancestors who built this house, and then we've got Earls of Oxford here too, and then that one's quite fun. That's the 18th Earl.
Okay, so he's right before the Earls of Oxford die out. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's
It goes
right.
to
Yes.
20?
It's good, 17 to 20. He was the 18th,
Okay.
and his father was the 7th.
And actually, we should go and have a look at his scroll, because we've got
So you
that to
have
show
you
you.
still have a lot of the archives, so it wasn't
Yeah.
destroyed
We had some of
in
the
the
archives.
fire.
Well, that's another story. We'll tell you that when we
Okay.
see it, because we brought it back.
Oh,
Which is amazing. Let's go to the dining room and we can show you that.
So this is the dining room,
Beautiful.
which actually in an early house, this is the sort of 17th century house, we morphed into the Georgian house. And our treasure in here is this, incredible. It's not a fireplace, and it is now, but this is a royal bed from Edward VI. And we've got the royal coat of arms there. And this dates to about 1540. You see a very young boy when he got the coronation. And you have this coat of arms, which is the board, the wild pig, basically, on the helmet, which is amazing. I mean, these are columns from the four goes to bed.
So when you were the Lord Chamberlain, you were given, as a thank you for organising the coronation, the bed, because there weren't any other gifts for
Well,
you.
on the entire contents of the King's bedchamber, we've got sort of silver bowls. And
after the coronation,
Yeah.
they were just sort of giving it away. The king didn't want any more.
It always went to the Lord Bedchamber.
It was a way of saying thank you.
The incredible thing was that this was in the keep, and it was moved to here to create this chimney piece
in sort of 1910 or something, really just whispers before the fire.
Yeah.
So it was saved. Incredible. I mean, I love heraldry, so I love the coats of arms. I'm just saying.
Well, we might be, who knows? So we've got the flag, there's a bit of flag here, which is still flying today. And this star was put on there when they were fighting the Saracens in one of the Crusades. And a star appeared, blinded the Saracens, and they won the victory. So that came back as it was then put on this coat of arms. And we still fly. And we have the story of that. Which
And there's a bit more heraldry for the heraldry club.
Yes, yeah, I'm ready to receive it. Love.
we do
So
not.
my if I say that I am.
Really special.
This doesn't come out very often.
This is incredibly
Okay.
So
I
this is
just love heraldry.
This is basically the Earls of Oxford from about 1570 it goes up to.
Oh, it goes up to. I thought you were going to tell me it starts at 1570. I was going to be impressed with that.
So you have the 17th Earl at this end, but look who he's related to.
You've got the 17th Earl.
He's
Wow.
from 1570.
What?
And he hasn't got any children at this point, so it
Okay.
dates to 1570.
This was done for the glory of him. This was a purely egotistical
No.
gimmick.
Well, this is saying how posh they were as a
So
family.
this was done in what, 16th century?
1570.
incredible and Nicholas survived.
Yes.
I found the love pictures, everybody.
Yeah.
I found them.
Okay.
We are related.
Okay. Let's have a
Right
look.
there.
Brilliant. We got it
Now,
right.
that's fantastic. Well, it also means that you are related to.
We go back to there.
Yeah, we are. We have ours as well. Yeah, we are. But you go much back further. You go back quite a lot further, though.
Well, what is quite fun
So
about
he's there, and then, you know, these guys are all
So fun.
that's William.
That's
And
brilliant.
that's De Beer. Let's have a look. Married, where is he here? That married Beatrice, who was William's half sister.
Okay, I see. So that's where your line starts.
And William came over obviously 1066.
Yep.
Headingham was taken in 1067-ish from Harlem, and they rewarded him because we married his sister. And he said, right, you can have.
You can have the land.
You have the lands.
And then his fifth grandson was became the first Earl of Oxford.
And so who gave the title Earl?
So that was Empress Matilda.
That was Empress Matilda.
There's William
the time of the
Spaffing.
anarchy.
Spaffing.
Yeah, with Penn Stephen.
This is so much fun.
And it was a miracle this thing
Isn't it
came back.
beautiful?
William lived sitting under someone's chest for 40 years. They got divorced and they were selling the house and someone spotted it. And the auctioneer got in touch with us and said, is this anything to do with you? And we said, yes it is. And the lady was going to sell it. And we had a chat to her and got some heartstrings and she sold it back to us rather than putting it in auction. This ends with Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford.
Okay.
And he was the one who sold all the 74,000 acres, and no one knows why. It ended up living in poverty in Hackney in London. There was this theory that he may have been one of the authors, or the author of the Shakespeare plays.
Which is why he needs cash to build the Globe and things like that.
And there's a huge support all over the world, a lot of support in America. And people...
And why? Why is this something to like? Why do people think that? Or why is
It's
it?
very well educated from Newport.
Right.
It's knew all the stories of Court. And, you know, there's a little bit of the history plays and things that, you know, a teacher from Stratford probably would have known all that.
And we did have access to the level of books that Shakespeare knew. His knowledge was so polymath. When he sort of covered, he knew about history firsthand. He just knew about the law. He knew about feudal families.
Okay. Really?
And he was very intelligent and known to be a poet and things. And of course you weren't allowed, because he was an aristocrat, to
Right.
an awful lot.
Yeah.
And on the back of the, in the first folio, which was the first 700 books ever published of the collection of Shakespeare plays, it says, look not at my face, but look at my words. And in every word spells my name, and every word is every word, and every word spells my name.
And Shakespeare, the De Vere,
You've probably got it here, actually.
is a hand shaking.
Shaking his beard. Yeah.
No.
And it was so many, and you couldn't be,
Oh my goodness.
you couldn't be seen to be right on the place because they were treasonable. And so you really rude about the royal family.
Right.
Which one is it? And he's a hunchback. And
Yes. Percy is depicted as...
and it was treasonable. And the son-in-law Southampton did go for treason against Queen Elizabeth.
Right. And then that is yeah.
So he had to tread a very fine line. And he should have been the leading daughter of Elizabeth. And he ended up selling it. And no one knows why or why.
And the reason
Oh my goodness. Really?
Because he sort of disappeared. Right. But the elder continued.
Yes.
Through the chap that we saw in Ashes.
Yes. Okay. The 18.
But it just sort of lost its moment.
Yeah.
And there's not one manuscript, any Shakespeare play or sonnet in existence. Every single one is destroyed. And it's a very strange thing that Shakespeare of Stratford was having 4 or 7 very literate signatures in his work. He never mentions a play or sonnet or anything. He mentions his second best play being written to his wife. And there's just so many.
So why would you, if you have that amazing legacy, why would you not teach your children to write?
So it really is infuriating for people who support Stratford, and I can just debate it. I mean,
Exactly.
And one of the father collected amazing paintings in Church of Stratford, which might actually be the only painting of Shakespeare in existence, because there's the Drew Street engraving in the first folio, and this was lent to the Shakespeare Authorship Trust in Stratford for many years, and when my father died, we got it back.
Gooch, that's enough.
It was beautiful, very high quality stuff, and it's been, it couldn't be proven, and it's now banned as anonymous, but there's a number of versions of him. He's widely recognised this man a lot, and it's very late to the engraving in the first folio, and there's some about 800 copies in the folder library in the States, because the folder over 1,200 copies, so we've got a collector of these, and they've got the biggest collection, and they're worth months, unfortunately.
Gucci.
And so there was the Drew Street engraving that was done in the 1620s, and Shakespeare of Stratford died in 1615, and so it's posthumous, and there is a mark, you can see the appeal of the mark. Why would you do that as a portrait? It's the strangest portrait when you look at it. There's too much smoke and mirrors in it.
So also, it's really important to have a debate, you have to be very sensitive because not everybody believes that. And actually just, when you go back to this incredible skill.
It was amazing that he was proving himself in 1570, just saying, look at me, I'm incredible. Warrior. And this is a propaganda document.
Well,
Quite fun.
that is super fun, so thank you.
Like Mapperton, Headingham Castle is a member house of historic houses. And in November 2024, Jason took on the role of president. Sitting in the garden overlooking that expansive lake, we discussed the incredible work and importance of the organization.
So, Joseph, historic houses is really, really important for the member houses, but also for the visitors to those houses that are protected.
It's an incredible association, and it's been going for 50 years. It has 1,400 members, 300 open to the public. It is the most extraordinary kind of representation of private heritage in this country. And it's down to the likes of Lord Bewley. They lobbied the government to get over 1 million signatures to a parliament and presented them to the government and said, look, these places are getting demolished. I mean, there was one a week being demolished. And we lost 2,000 leaves between 1870 and 1970.
So in 100 years, 2,000 historic houses, staterooms, castles, manors were pulled down.
I mean, the damage, it was so shocking what happened in this country. It was punitive taxation. And it was the inheritance tax kicked in 1909, people couldn't afford them, and they lost their purpose. The sort of centres of disaster for families. But they had to adapt. And historic houses and the membership are the most innovative and entrepreneurial owners you can imagine. And they're always coming up with brilliant ideas. And you are a great example of what people can do, thinking out of the box. And they're a lean organisation. We've got an executive in London who are incredibly hard on behalf of the 1,400 houses. And it's unbelievable what they have achieved, raising awareness, getting big membership to support the association, and sharing voices.
Exactly. You mentioned that there's 1,400 sort of house members, and of those 1,400, heritage sites, 300, including Headingham, including Mapperton, are open to the public. And that's also really, really important to be able to give them access, of course, to these visitors and let them enjoy what we've been able to enjoy. But also, I think it's really important, especially for that sort of Headingham, is that we have these events, we've got these things that we can, and we need the business to pay for things like the roof, the leaks. I mean, the restoration is now.
I mean, the survey done very recently basically highlighted our backlog of repairs is £1 billion. And it's growing every year. And the only way we can do these repairs is by generating revenue from tourism and commercial events and property rentals. And we have to be absolutely ahead of time so we work with what we can do.
Yes, and so how many, that's, we can
contributes to that repair bill because it's just ongoing. I think as a custodian, you always have to think to yourself, I'll never be able to finish it. But what you want to try to do is make it better for the next generation and also make sure that you are preserving it so that visitors, those of us who do open to recover, they can still enjoy the house. We can have those events and it's not in disrepair.
It is extraordinary. The skills are dying out. So we absolutely got to keep. I mean, there's something like 34,000 jobs within the association that we employ people. So that's an amazing.
And that's from stonemasonry to
stonemasons and the skills that, carvers, thatchers, stonemasons, glazers.
Yep, window is open.
Stained glass restorers, fabric repairers, painting repairers. People walk out. And, we are waving the flag. But it's difficult. Trying to get people to come through with apprenticeships and music. So we employ a lot of people.
Gucci, stop.
£3 in the UK economy. And when we say 300 euros, actually, at least half of the 300 are working in somewhere. And those people travel away in the town, village, they cut the countryside, the woodlands, footpaths, take pictures. It's much bigger. The reach of these estates is why this country is so incredibly beautiful. They're world-class buildings. And we're very proud of it, but it doesn't come with the price is that's what we talk about.
I've seen it in Geneva, I've done London, I can't even believe the amount of work that you actually done yourself. And I think there's been, in the past, 100 years ago, we wouldn't have touched really anything,
We walk around with they're not really knowing what's going on. And they have nice rent from their estate. There's losses in the state. It's been sold to taxation in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Totally aligned from levies and from our 25,000 visitors. And they're very fragile. They're done with a passion, year and membership, houses, and they're quietly doing all the 10-star fundraisers and the church fundraisers, and people are being very generous about it. They're never shy about it, but it's there. It's something we should be really proud of.
Yeah. So looking forward to your presidency, which is 4 years, what are some of your big ideas?
Well, I love the idea of, Historic Houses and Association, Britain's about 85,000 members, and it'd be lovely to grow that, but I'd really also grow the knowledge of the association, because we're all so passionate in this place of our stone culture. Often people turn out and think, well, it's going to be a very big house, but with no idea whether you've got a Rembrandt in the drawing room, or whether you've got 500 acres, 2 acres, or 1,000. And people just assume you do. And these places have so much money with running costs, the energy costs, the utilities. It's all against us. It's pretty scary. And I think a lot of places will just, people will go, you know what, I can't do it. And they could go on the market. And then we lose the habit of that.
You just look at that map, and you can see all these wonderful, amazing stately homes just dotted all up and down the UK. Well, listen, congratulations. I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much. It's been a fascinating. It was a great honor for you to be down there.
Yeah, it must be.
What do you want? Gucci, come here. Okay.
This is the family of a little boy who lost his life at daycare. And police say it was no accident.
10-13 into the 10-7. Sabbath duty crew, this is your page for high priority medical lab watching Horse Ranch, 14859 Louisiana Avenue South. For a 10-month-old baby that's not conscious and not breathing. Time of age is 10-11.
And now a daycare employee is in jail accused of the boy's murder.
Her behavior and actions at the scene immediately raised suspicion.
The reasoning police say this daycare worker allegedly took this
No,
young
keep
boy's
going.
life.
No,
And
it's just
why
my
they
ring.
say this was also not the first time that she tried to hurt a child in her care. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Very important in this story that you remember a name. And the name that I want you to remember today is Harvey Mucklehurst. He was just 11 months old and he was just shy of his first birthday.
Yeah,
when
across
he died.
there.
And that is when police in
All the way
Minnesota
across,
said
Jay.
he was allegedly murdered.
All the way
Now,
across.
here's Harvey's picture.
Yeah,
Harvey
thank
lived
you.
in Savage, Minnesota, which is a town that is south of Minneapolis. Harvey went to daycare at a place called Rocking Horse Ranch. And you can see a picture of it here on Google Maps. It is currently closed, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Now, on its website, this
Why are
daycare
you
claims that
fucking
it's a
going
licensed neighborhood child care center that is nationally accredited. It has a 4-star rating on Parent Aware, which is a company that rates daycare,
Yeah,
so parents
fucking
know
scratch
that
and sweep.
places are ones that they can trust when looking for a spot to their kids go to every day. And when it comes to
Goddamn
staffing
frame.
at this daycare, well, according to them, the teachers have an
The
average
whole of
tenure
the
of 15
bucket
years,
you
and
guys
quote, all members of our staff meet or exceed job qualification requirements as set by the Minnesota Department of Human Services. Now, you can see why a parent looking at that would trust a place like this and trust the people that it employs. Now I want to talk about what happened on September 22nd around 10 o'clock in the morning, according to police in Savage, Minnesota.
10-13 in service 10-7. Sabbath duty crew, this is your page for high priority medical lab watching Horse Ranch, 14859 Louisiana Avenue South. For a 10-month-old baby that's not conscious.
All the way
not
across.
breathing. Time of age is
You're
10-11.
there all fucking night.
So that's the call that went out to
No,
emergency
not like
responders
that.
when police say little boy named Harvey wasn't breathing. Police say they tried to save Harvey, but a little more than an hour
Stop
after they
touching my
responded
fucking
to this
shirt.
daycare and
You're gonna
transported
wreck
the
it.
11-month-old
And I'll
to the
wreck your
hospital,
fucking face.
Harvey passed away. He was just 7
Learn to
days
scratch
shy of
properly.
his first birthday.
Don't
Now,
try
at the
so
time,
fucking
police
hard,
weren't
loser.
sure how Harvey died, but they launched a
It's not
very
goddamn
thorough
rocket
investigation.
science.
The daycare was closed after Harvey had passed away. The other children who were at the daycare, they were safely returned to their parents, and police started to ask questions about how this could happen. They say they did dozens of interviews over the course of 3 months. And that investigation zeroed in on the teacher who called 911 the day that young Harvey was in trouble. And police say it
All
turned
the way
out
to the end.
that in the days leading up to Harvey's death, there was a 4-month-old girl at this daycare who had a medical issue.
On Friday,
What?
September 19th,
Short
the
scratches?
Police Department responded
Fucking
to
punch
Rocking
you
Horse
next
Ranch
time.
Daycare after reports of a 4-month-old child who was briefly not breathing and was found with blood and foam under the nose and mouth. By the time officers arrived, the child was breathing again and was being transported to the hospital by the parents. At that time, this appeared to be a medical episode with no immediate foul play concerns raised. The child was later evaluated, released, and over the weekend
Hard.
reportedly
Yeah.
acting normal.
No, you're not.
With no
Hard.
further issues observed whatsoever. On that following Monday, September 22nd, 2025, at
No.
approximately 8:30 p.m., that same child
Switching
returned to the
So you
daycare
move up a little bit.
and left. A short time later, she was again found unresponsive, not breathing, with blood
Down.
in her nose and mouth. The child's parents were notified, returned to the center, and transported her to the hospital.
All the way to the end,
And the
stupid.
family was not dispatched for that second incident.
Told you next time you're gonna do the
Just
fucking
2 hours later,
short scratches, I'm gonna fucking punch
that
you.
same morning, Thea Russell called 911 to report an 11-month-old child, Harvey
Down.
Mucklehurst, was not breathing. Police, fire, and EMS responded immediately, and initiated life-saving efforts.
Down on his heart.
Transported to the hospital where he, despite all his life-saving efforts, was pronounced deceased at approximately 11:34 a.m.
So police say at this daycare, the one that claimed to have teachers with experience and teachers who parents could trust, there was one teacher in these incidents that was a common denominator. And that is the woman that you see here. Her name is Thea Russell. And she is 18 years old. She is an employee who actually had just started at this daycare a couple of weeks before Harvey's death.
A clear pattern of work. Thea Russell was a common denominator in each of these incidents. She had last contact with each of the affected children who immediately followed these events. Notably, she had only been at the daycare for 3 weeks at that time. Her behavior and actions at the scene immediately raised suspicion.
Gooch, go lay down.
To her as the primary person of interest.
So initially, Russell told police that Harvey was constipated and that Harvey's parents gave the boy a sleeping called melatonin on the day that he was found unresponsive. This is according to KTSP in Minneapolis. And then I'll tell you what police say really happened. It's sick to think that this woman tried to think anything like parents or melatonin, something that the parents might have given on the day that he died. In the weeks that followed Harvey's death, police say they found out that there were some major issues in this daycare employee's past. Now, here's what they said at this news conference. We have the video from Fox 9 in Minneapolis. The local television stations were there. You had the district attorney, you had local officials, you had members of Harvey's family who you will hear from in just a moment. You have police laying out what their investigation found. And they say in that investigation, they learned in talking to former employers of Thea Russell, Thea Russell's family, talking to people who just knew Thea Russell, this is what they found.
This revealed a documented history of attention-seeking behavior.
I know.
People began making bets for 911 calls for nonsense coincidence.
I know.
Hanging up.
That's a bad dog owner.
And erratic behavior toward other children.
So, according to police, Thea Russell is an 18-year-old daycare employee. She allegedly has had a history of some pretty concerning behavior. And the term attention-seeking, that is very important and incredibly concerning when you talk about what happened to Harvey.
Based on the totality of the evidence in this 3-month investigation, we have followed the cause to believe Thea Russell intentionally prosecuted these children on 3 occasions to seek attention. The third incident tragically resulted in the death of Harvey Mucklebust. During questioning, Thea confessed to intentionally suffocating the 2 children in an attention-seeking act.
This, according to the police, is not just a theory. They arrested Thea Russell, and this is what she allegedly said.
During the questioning, Thea confessed to intentionally suffocating the 2 children in an attention-seeking act. She provided detailed descriptions of how she carried out the attempts against the life of the first victim on 2 separate occasions. And she confessed to the murder of Harvey Mucklebust.
Now, we are hoping to get the video eventually, body cam video of Thea Russell when she was arrested, as well as any sort of video we can get from police of how the questioning went down, the interrogation of Thea Russell during this investigation. We were told by the local police at this point, because this is an open investigation still, no one has been convicted in connection with these crimes, and Thea Russell is just accused of these crimes. That we're not able to get the body cam video at this time, but we are hoping to eventually get it. There are also the questions about not just how she was hired by this daycare, but there are the questions about how she was able to be the one looking after children who were some of the youngest at this daycare. You have Harvey, who was 11 months old. He wasn't even 1 year old. And then the other girl who police were talking about, they say she was 4 months old. So we're talking about kids who aren't even adults. They're still babies. And they're the ones who often require more attention and require that specialized care. At the news conference announcing Harvey's arrest, we did see his mom and dad You just can't imagine what they are dealing with right now. They were there standing with police, standing strong. We saw Harvey's mom with a picture of her son on her shirt. And in what was just a heartbreaking and emotional part of this story, we heard from Harvey's family. And his grandmother was the one to speak on behalf of the family of Harvey Mucklebust. And this is what she said.
My name is Julie Mucklebust, Harvey's Nana. I am providing this statement on behalf of Harvey's dad and mom, Hunter and Catherine, his brother, and our entire family. First, we'd like to express our gratitude to the Savage Police Department, and specifically Detective Andrew Dame and his investigative team for their tireless efforts to seek the truth in Harvey's death. We appreciate the time, care, and compassion you have given our family. We would also like to thank the Scott County Attorney's Office, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner, the Minnesota BCA, FBI, and all the other agencies that assisted to provide investigation. From the moment Harvey was born, he filled our world with sunshine. His passion for playing, infectious laugh, loving heart put a smile on everybody's face. Just 5 days shy of his first birthday, he was on the move, crawling, climbing up the stairs and sliding back down, and learning to say Mama and Dada. He loved the time playing with his big brother, who misses him deeply. He was affectionately known as our little hard monster. Harvey was such a blessing to our family, and his death has left a tremendous hole in our hearts. Harvey's fingerprints are on my sliding glass door. And his little stains still show on his crib sheets. Those are the little things that I'm not ready to wash away. We miss him more than anything in this world. We try to remember with each ray of sunshine, each gentle breeze, and each star in the sky, that he's always with us shining down. Harvey, every day we ask ourselves why it had to be you. Every day we live with the pain of what happened to you. But we promise that every day we will say your name. Every day we will continue to fight for you. And in the end, we will make sure that justice has been served. Harvey, we love and miss you. Thank you.
Court records show that Russell is charged with second-degree murder, assault in the first degree, and assault in the third degree. She had a bond hearing on Friday, and the judge set her bond at $3.5 million. She will make her first court appearance on February 4th. So here's the official page as far as the daycare is concerned that shows the license for Rocking Horse Daycare. It has been suspended. It also says that suspension is under appeal. Joining us now to talk a little bit more about this incredibly sad case is Sherry Botwin, licensed clinical social worker, trauma expert, and the author of Thriving After Trauma. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to be with us, Sherry. This is just it's to not just the loss of a child here and a young boy, but also, what police say. And when you hear law enforcement say that Thea Russell did this for attention, I mean, as a clinical social worker, what stands out to you?
So many things. One of the things that I'm thinking when I think about she's 18 and she's saying she's doing this for attention, I'm thinking, what is her background? Where does this woman come from? And again, not to excuse or make excuses for her behavior, but to really try and understand she's still kind of a child in and of itself. She's 18, so there must be something going on, whether it's a psychological issue or some type of events that she experienced in her own childhood?
It's just, because I think too of, you hear of people being like narcissists or pathological liars. When you have someone who would allegedly go to such dark lengths for attention, like what type of conditions are there out there?
There's a lot of conditions, and without having met her, we can't diagnose her, but I'm thinking, what kind of condition is this? Is this someone who has some type of bipolar disorder? Is she having hallucinations, delusions? What was going on and what is going on in the mind of this woman? And does she have a mental health condition? The other aspect that we have to think about is it's not even just that she has a mental health condition, but is there some type of personality disorder, whether it coincides with the mental health issue or that in and of itself is the issue? In order to really better understand these type of cases, you need to get forensic experts in there to do thorough evaluating and diagnostic strategies to actually come to some type of conclusion, because she's not going to be able to tell you, I have this or I think I have that. And right now, there's so much we don't know. There's definitely something or some things going on with this woman that led her to commit such a horrible crime.
Yeah, and it wasn't just this incident with this young boy, Harvey. Apparently there was a young girl, 4 months old, at this daycare that had some medical issues, and police say that Thea Russell allegedly was the common denominator in all of it. But then, in their investigation, they go on to realize that there were examples in the past of some nonsensical 911 calls, other just very, in some ways you could say bizarre behavior, concerning behavior, that then also kind of wraps into how police say she went about this just horrifically, just this horrific case involving Harvey Mucklebust. When it comes to her defense, because this is someone, if you do this for attention, I mean, it's easy to look and say that this is a person who is not in their right mind, but how could that factor into how this case goes forward if she is even diagnosed with some sort of mental health condition or personality disorder?
Right, she might be diagnosed with a whole bunch of things, but if she's saying that she's doing this for attention, and then the defense lawyers say, let's go after the insanity plea, you can't say that you're insane if you're able to identify what your thoughts are underneath the crime. Then you do know, or she did know what she was doing, and she did know that what she was doing was wrong. So I feel like this doesn't sound like someone who's insane. It sounds like someone who's very unwell and has psychological problems. But from everything that I'm reading about the crime, the alleged crime, it sounds like she did know what she was doing. And I think to myself, how did this go undetected? How did this woman, how did she get away with this? And now, after a baby dies, now we're finding out?
Well, and the part for me too, and I'm interested to see what more comes out, because you have this daycare, like on their website, they're accredited, nationally recognized, like it's all the things where, like, if you were a parent in this town looking for a daycare, it seems, just based off their website, that they have very good people working there, and their license has been suspended. It appears that they're appealing that suspension, but you have this daycare employee. She's 18 years old. She's only been there for 3 weeks, and police were, it seems like over the last couple of months in their investigation, it was pretty quick that they realized that there was all this other behavior in the past from employers and family members telling them, and it's like, how did this daycare not know that there was these concerning actions?
Like, how did the daycare not see this? And how, the question that I have is, how was she able to mask this part of herself? The thing that we have to remember with people who commit such horrible crimes, oftentimes they have multifaceted layers of their personality, right? So she was there for 3 weeks. She might have done a very good job in front of parents or in front of staff, not displaying these attributes that are so concerning. And the other thing is, when the daycare is hiring and having employees work with these very young infants, Was there any type of training, supervision? She had only been there for 3 weeks, so why was she by herself with these infants? Didn't she have to go through any type of observation, training? These are some of the questions that are running through my mind as we look at the story.
Well, and the other thing too is like she wasn't just, this was a daycare that had some older kids there. She wasn't like out on the playground with kids that are 5, 6 years old. It'd still be concerning if she's around anybody based on what she's accused, but like she was with the young ones. She was with 4-month-old, 11-month-old. These are the children that need the most care a lot of times at these daycares. So there's a lot of questions for the daycare. When you talk about a personality disorder, because I think some of the mental health conditions that sometimes we see in these cases, something like schizophrenia. But then when you talk about a personality disorder, like perhaps Thea Russell has, we'll see if she's diagnosed with anything and what the deal is. But like, what is a personality disorder?
A personality disorder is not something that you get as you grow up. A personality disorder is something that evolves and develops over time. The challenge with this case is she's only 18, and you really can't diagnose someone under 18 with a personality disorder, so she's at that age where it's probably going to be hard for us to tell, but the types of personality disorders that I'm thinking about are things like borderline personality disorder, which often stems from some type of very early childhood trauma that someone may have experienced that left them feeling abandoned and stranded, and then all that rage and the inability to contain the anger. Some of what I'm trying to understand, she's working with infants, so I'm trying to understand, did something happen early in her childhood where she developed all this anger and rage, and somehow it's very sick to think about it like this, but in some way was she taking some of that anger or hurt, or if she has feelings of betrayal, out onto the infants that she was taking care of?
Yeah, it's because especially, I mean, you think of the 2 incidents that police believe that she's linked to before Harvey with this 4-month-old girl. Thankfully, she survived, as far as what police have said. Going back to the insanity defense, and we've talked about this before, and it's a very high bar for people to meet it. And, when we look at that bar, and even in this case, if she was like, oh, I'm going to get attention because I'm going to do it. I mean, it's pretty much the insanity defense can be lost very quickly. I mean, the second that she admits what she did and has any inclination that she was wrong, like, for an attorney, whoever would take on this case, even if this goes to trial years from now, like, that opportunity has been taken away.
She basically took that away from herself when she says, I did this for attention, and it sounds like all the other behaviors that we're finding out about now are very similar in nature. So can someone be severely mentally ill? Sure. And can you use that as part of the case? Absolutely, but that doesn't mean that she's insane. It means that you would take that into consideration when maybe you're thinking about the sentencing phase, but in terms of, did she know that what she was doing was right or wrong, and did she have consciousness about what she was doing? It sure sounds like it.
And I also read, too, that she had said initially that the boy was constipated and the parents had given the boy melatonin because he was having trouble sleeping, and so it's like there's that initial lie that it appears that, according to the police, that she told, and then she comes clean after it, which also would kind of show some of that as well. When it comes to personality disorders, and this is more of a general question, like maybe someone's a narcissist, maybe someone has borderline personality disorder, in this case we'll see, again, what Thea Russell would be diagnosed with, if anything, but there's so many times where you don't know that this person has that personality disorder until it's one of these cases. It's like, after someone is accused of a terrible crime, it's like, oh my gosh, this person is a narcissist. There might be signs along the way, but then they really show themselves in those terrible moments. Like, how is it that people with these type of conditions, even if they don't know they have it, are able to mask them? And like in this case, to get this daycare to believe that she was ready to handle these very young kids, she must have said something.
Yeah, see, this is where it gets very tricky, because for instance, with narcissistic personality disorder, oftentimes people with these traits are very charming. They can be very likable one of the problems with having a personality disorder is I think people who have them at times, and this is not for everybody, but they are able to mask the parts of themselves that can't regulate, can't contain, don't know how to deal with their rage and their anger. So I can only imagine when they're interviewing her, you can't see somebody who's narcissistic or somebody has borderline personality disorder. What I find is, even as a therapist, I could be working with someone for months before I even figure out, so there's like some narcissistic tendencies here as well. Oftentimes, the traits of someone with a personality disorder, they come out in more intimate relationships. So if you think about someone working with babies, that's a very intimate experience, right? But no one was watching her. No one was able to see, at least from what we're hearing, no one could see how she was responding to babies when they were constipated or crying or giving her a hard time, for example. So this is where personality disorders can be very toxic. We often won't know about this until months or years into knowing someone.
Yeah, and that's the other part too. Is it wasn't just that she was with the young children at this daycare. Apparently she was alone. There wasn't someone else apparently there. So she was given an incredible amount of trust by this daycare, it seems. Even if she's not able to plead insanity, and if law enforcement has as strong a case as it appears that they have against her, like, how could her mental health, how could a defense use that in some way to try and mitigate what could go her way? Is there anything like a defense attorney would try to do, bringing in an expert, laying out her path, part of it, in a case where someone seems to be facing a very tough challenge, especially with what appears to be some kind of confession there? Like, what is her defense?
Yeah, so I've seen this in some cases because, again, everybody has the right to have a defense attorney, and everyone has the right to do what they can to get the least amount of consequences. But I feel like in this case, if you bring in an expert who tries to lay out this woman's past and these are the reasons why she might have done this, I think that could backfire. I think that would make the jury even more angry because they may interpret that as, so you're just trying to let her off the hook in a way or lighten her sentence. I don't think it would work out well, but I think in this case, I imagine that might be one of the strategies that her attorneys will use.
Yeah, I mean, and she's at 18 years old. She is found guilty. Just think of this young boy who lost his life just short of his first birthday. We'll see how this case plays out going forward. Sherry Botwin, it's always great to have you on Law and Crime. I know you are the author of Thriving After Trauma, a really important book. What do you want people to know about the book? Of course, where they can get it, but what you hope someone takes away from reading?
I appreciate you asking. You can get the book wherever you like to buy your books. I think when I think about the book and I tie it into the story, we as a society, there's so many of us that have been through experiences early in life that have left us feeling traumatized. One of the things that we need to do is we need to be able to confront these experiences and we need to be able to talk about them, because when people can deal with or take ownership of something that happened to them, they're not going to at 18 or 20 or 25 go out in the world and start doing such horrible things and then end up ruining their own lives. So really it's about understanding the impact of trauma and figuring out how you can learn to live with it and not continue to reenact it or take all that anger out and then act in ways that are going to end your life or someone else's.
Yeah, and I think too of just Harvey's parents. I know they were at the news conference, and to even have the strength to stand there with police is just incredible. And then just some very, very emotional words from his grandmother speaking on behalf of the family. Again, we'll see how the criminal trial now plays out. That Thea Russell, 18 years old, has been arrested. Sherry Botwin, licensed clinical social worker, trauma expert. It's always great to have you on Law and Crime. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And before we go, I want to show you the GoFundMe for Harvey. It reads that he was pure happiness and sunshine from the moment he was born. He could light up an entire room with his contagious smile. and fill everyone's hearts with joy when he did that. Now, the GoFundMe has raised more than $35,000 since it was launched in September. Again, this was a 3-month investigation, and a lot of attention now on that young boy, and of course, on how the legal system will move forward with this case against D'Alesandro. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law and Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and now you can find episodes of On the Case on Peacock. I'm Chris Stewart. See you next time.
Suspicions mount when a newborn baby is found unresponsive. He was full of, I don't know, it was brown. He was very junky. There was brown liquid coming out of his mouth. But were detectives looking at an accident or something far more calculated?
Something happened, we know that. So I know you know just because of the fact you're the only one that does.
This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Warner. Now, this is one of those cases that drew mixed reaction. Some believing the suspect did it, others not too sure. In the end, though, a jury had to determine the truth. It's November 8th, 2021. We're in Sarasota, Florida. It's late into the night when a woman runs out of her home carrying her newborn child in her arms. The woman was panicked. Her baby was unresponsive. She rushed him to a neighbor's home who reportedly worked as a nurse. Then the calls were made to 911. When paramedics arrived, 14-week-old baby Dominic was still unresponsive. EMTs performed life-saving measures, but little Dominic had to be rushed to the hospital. He was placed on life support. As doctors said, there was little hope. The newborn reportedly showed signs of head trauma. There was no brain activity. Days later, he was taken off life support and was pronounced dead. On the day Dominic had to be rushed to the hospital, his dad was away from the home. The only ones in the house were Dominic's 2-year-old brother and their mom, Lily Scheidt. It's November 19th of 2021, more than a week after baby Dominic's death. Lily's in an interrogation room as detectives needed to figure out what happened in the hours leading up to the 911 call.
I don't know how much your attorney has explained to you already, but this is an interview that is basically just a statement. So all we're asking of you is just to go through your day, and we'll get into that stuff, but it's not going to be, anything related to a crime, okay? So we are investigating the death of your child, and with that becomes statements. We have to talk to a lot of different people, and you are one of them. So again, thank you so much for coming in and taking the time to talk to us. Okay.
We started dinner. Pete had a recipe for chicken, and so we made some chicken, had dinner. Dominic, I believe, was back in his pack and play. I made dinner for Lucas, which he's a very picky eater. Chicken nuggets, and I tried to push the Brussels sprouts.
Oh man.
No, it's going to be a little while.
I
Right?
know. I always put something green on his plate, and
Good effort.
he always turns it down. And I don't think he even wanted his chicken nuggets that night. So, but that's not unusual for him. It's hit or miss, really. So, we had dinner together. Pete left for band practice. He took Lucas outside to swing before we sat down and ate. So just after we had dinner, he was taking off for band practice between 7:15. Dominic seemed like he was getting a little hungry again. He was growing so fast. He was going between 5 and 7 ounces, and so I made him a couple more ounces, gave him a snack, held him for a little while, put him back in his pack and play. He was on the boppy pillow next to his napper, kind of sitting up and watching Lucas. Lucas had a little more TV. Sorry.
It's okay, you're doing a great job. Did I give him a bath? No. I don't think so. Yeah, more TV. I put him down in his bassinet in the room, with the door open. I went back to Lucas, changed his diaper, put him in his pajamas, put on his relaxing fishes again. He seems to only rest if I sit with him. So I was sitting on the couch with him probably 20 minutes. It was just before 9:30. I went back in the room to see if Dominic had fallen asleep. Sometimes he would just lay there. There was a box on his bassinet that he likes to just kind of look at. But when I went back, he wasn't breathing. His lips were blue. I scooped him out of picked him up out of the bassinet. I don't have much light in my room. Went into the kids' room directly across the hall, put him on his changing table, immediately noticed he's unresponsive. I could not find my cell phone in a hurry. I knew I would need an ambulance. I'm a nurse that would have immediately called 911 on the speakerphone and initiated CPR. I panicked, ran to my neighbor's house, right next to my house. Her husband drives an ambulance for pediatrics. She said, go to my mother-in-law's house, directly across the street. We laid Dominic down in the garage, initiated CPR. I do remember giving him breaths, and he was full of, I don't know, it was brown. He was very junky. There was brown liquid coming out of his mouth. I believe that it's a matter of shock and trauma that I can't recollect him being taken by the ambulance, but I know that that is what happened up until that point. When I came back from Tampa General, I noticed on his bassinet sheet where his head was a brown stain,
similar to what you described earlier, the hurt or whatever that you said you saw earlier from him. Okay.
I wonder, did he vomit when he was laying down?
Detectives were exploring all options, struggling to understand how a seemingly healthy newborn boy could have died so unexpectedly. Investigators soon learned the baby had experienced a series of injuries weeks before, including broken bones.
It seems fair to say that Lucas was not an aggressive boy by any means.
Not at all.
Maybe a little attention deficit, but not really an aggressive boy.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Sweet boy.
So I understand about after 3 weeks, when Dominic was 3 weeks old, something happened with his leg. Can you describe what happened to us?
Sure. I had just fed Dominic. I was we had a rocker, recliner, lazy boy chair in our living room next to Lucas's little kid table. I was burping Dominic. I had him sitting up on his knee and with one hand patting his back and the other hand on his chest. On this side of the chair is the lever to recline it. Lucas liked to mess around. He would stand up on it and kind of jump on it.
He was a boy.
Yeah. Yeah. When when this happened, he was standing on the lever, and he put his foot back to try to balance on the chair of the kids' table, and that started to lean back. He lost his balance, and he reached out and grabbed this hand that I had on Dominic's chest. And I couldn't get it back from him in time to stop Dominic from falling. Dominic fell, and his right leg was tucked behind him. I didn't initially think that he was seriously injured at all. But I took him to the changing table, and it was clear that one leg he was moving and the other leg was, I don't want to say floppy, but he wasn't able to move it, and when I touched it, he was crying, he was in pain. So they did x-rays and told me that he had a fracture. And I drove with him in an ambulance to All Children's Hospital. Okay. He stayed for a few days.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
They didn't have to put a cast or anything?
At Doctor's Hospital at ER, they did.
Like a temporary?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, they did, and they had me hold it for, I don't know, a few
just keep it
minutes while it
stationary.
hardened. Yeah, it was just a hard cast, which they took off at All Children's.
Just before we get far away from it, you described up to it what happened, and he's here, and you got pulled. Also, Dominic would have fallen, I'm assuming, like between your legs, on the floor, or...
Did he fall down onto the floor? Did he fall into the chair and then the floor, or just straight down?
He did. He did a back tumble, and his head was on my foot. I remember that. And I had tried to stop him from falling, but he had Chanel's socks on, and I ended up just being able to grab the sock.
Oh, so you grabbed the sock. Oh, you got a sock, basically, so not his leg? Right, because that's what I was trying to get the mental picture.
I couldn't.
So you had to pick him. Then you had to pick him up.
I picked him up immediately and took him to the changing table.
So the spring, or the...
Hello?
A fracture or whatever, they're assuming happened because of his leg being, like, maybe tucked behind him in the fall part, not a pulling or... Got you. Okay.
Do you recall anything else happening to Dominic between that time and the most recent incident that caused his death? Anything that you can think of that would be cause for concern, that could have potentially injured him? Anything that you can think of?
Just what, 8 or 9 week period?
Yeah.
Is that right, as far as the math? So, yeah, any kind of trauma, or anything with him. So he was healthy, wasn't...
He was totally normal on Monday, being that he was normal on Monday, I don't know if there's any indication that
all the
injury
way
could
back.
come forward.
We're even going all the way back, though. If, from the leg thing, if there was any kind of accident or anything that happened that you recall. Any oopsies or falls or...
Did they x-ray his head or do an MRI or anything of his head when he broke his leg?
Yes.
Yes.
So they do a full body, especially if they're so tiny.
Well, that'd be good for comparison.
So no, you remember no trauma, right? Once he was happy, healthy.
One thing that I think is noteworthy is that CPR was done on the garage floor. On the concrete garage floor.
Okay.
I think that's noteworthy if he aspirated
and then was put on the garage floor for CPR. That could have caused the injury.
Is that what you recall? Is the floor, the garage floor?
I remember taking him through the garage. Was the garage floor?
And I'll just say this, I'm under the understanding that it was in the master bedroom, that CPR was performed.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm under the impression, but you were in the garage at one point, however, it was moved to, and I'm under the impression CPR was not performed until the baby got into the bedroom.
And I don't recall.
And that's totally okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's for us to figure out for sure.
Okay.
Do you recall at any point attempting CPR? I know you said that you're a nurse, so did you at any point attempt CPR prior to going outside and meeting with your neighbor?
No.
Okay.
I knew I was leaving. I didn't have my phone then.
Sure.
I just...
Natural panic.
Yeah.
No one's going to question it. I mean, it's
just random.
Caring for 2 young children, including a newborn, Lily admitted to struggling with postpartum depression, but she insisted she was a devoted mom to her 2 boys and couldn't fathom anyone intentionally harming Dominic.
Do you have any concerns that Pete would have done something to Dominic that he would be too embarrassed to tell you about?
No,
or okay.
not even if it's accidental. Like,
No.
oh, you know.
No.
No concerns whatsoever. Any family members, friends, anybody that you'd be like,
no.
This person's not good with kids or whatever. No. Okay. All right.
Lily was free to leave because she was there voluntarily. She wasn't detained, nor did she face any criminal charges at this point. But that didn't mean the case was over. By December 2nd, nearly a month after Dominic's tragic death, Lily returned to the same interview room, with her attorney still by her side.
So, Lily, we've got some unexplained injuries to Dominic's head. And I know that originally, when you guys were in the hospital, they had told you Dominic had some head trauma. So you were kind of aware of that already. So we were able to look a little bit deeper into that. And I'd like to give you the opportunity to explain how Dominic got those injuries. And this is that opportunity for you to do that.
Okay, I don't have an explanation.
Okay.
What kind of injuries did you guys see? Like, I know that in the hospital they were notified about a skull fracture.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not numerous injuries.
There are numerous injuries to the back of his head.
We were just aware of the one.
And the whole care and custody, you know, I mean, we've established, at least with speaking everyone, that, you know, you were the last one with Dominic. You know what I mean? That's, we all understand that. In the limited time, you know, that Peter was there was no accidental drops or any, you know, inflicted damage, what have you. He looked, as you even described it, a smiling, you know, a happy face. He was fine.
And Peter left, and he was smiling, happy. You described that, and, you know, everything seemed okay. And then there's kind of that interim from when, after Peter left, to when you went to your neighbor's house. That's that time period that needs a little bit more explanation. I'd really like to give you that opportunity now to, if there's anything that you can think of that you'd like to talk about, now would be the time to do so.
I understand that. There was nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. And I want to be frank with you, Lily. I can understand all of the stress that you were going through. I can't even imagine for 2 seconds being in with the amount of stress. We talked to Peter's parents, we talked to your mom. Haven't been able to talk to your dad yet, but even Peter's parents straight up said that
Peter is not as involved as they want him to be. So you're taking care of everything. You're taking care of 2 kids, 1 brand new baby, the loss of your sister, trying to incorporate work and being a full-time mom. I can't imagine. And I want to express to you that I empathize with you, and I know my partner does, and everyone can empathize with you for everything that you were going through. However, there are these unexplained injuries, and they need an explanation. Otherwise, the answers that we get will be strictly based on the evidence that we see. So we're going to draw those conclusions. And without an explanation, that's what we have.
There are injuries, and there's like a 2-hour gap of time, right? It's focused.
2 to 4 days, yeah. At the time when?
Yeah, after when Peter left and when the Sarah went
it was about 3 hours.
Other than that, there's no one else. That's it.
That's what we're saying. She's the only one who can answer.
She's the only one that can answer too.
I mean, what if she these injuries were
the injuries were inflicted, and they were inflicted within the time period.
Really have no explanation for Dominick's injuries. What isn't sitting right with the medical staff at the hospital? I never thought it would shift the entire direction of the case.
Absolutely.
We don't have these answers, and if we did, Peter and Lily would have their story all at once, and the one thing
Gucci enough.
Write them down.
Yep.
Now.
Hello. Thank you for calling the support team at the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. Bonjour. Merci d'avoir contacté l'équipe de soutien et dans le Canadien de protection de l'enfant. For service in English, please press 1. Pour continuer en français, faites le 2. If you hold on a child who is in immediate danger, or of an individual who is at risk of self-harm or suicide, hang up now and dial 911. To reach missingkids.ca, Canada's Missing Children Resource Center, please press 1. For assistance or information related to online sexual victimization, please press 2. Reports to missingkids.ca can be submitted online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through our intake form or our tip form at www.missingkids.ca. If you prefer to continue through our automated after-hours triage, please stay on the line and listen carefully to the options provided. Please note that missingkids.ca
The fuck is your problem?
Nothing.
What are you doing?
One of the balls went underneath the dog bed. Good, stop. Good, stop. Gucci. Bed. Good, that's enough. Gucci, stop. Hey, baby. Come here. Oh, hold on. Gucci, come here. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Gucci, come here. Good boy. Come here.
Jay.
Yep.
Stop.
Stop what?
What are you fucking doing? Molesting the dog?
No. Gucci, come here.
Take him the fuck out.
I had to fix his collar. His collar was loose. Come on, Gucci. Come here. Come here. Come here, Gucci. Come here. Come here. Come. Collar's fixed. Come here, Gucci. Gooch, come. Come here, baby.
Shut the fuck up!
Gucci. That's enough. Come here, Gucci. Come here. No, no. There we go. That's us. Enough.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Why?
What's he doing?
Huh?
What's he doing?
He's like following the ball. I'm like moving it in like one direction and he's following it.
Okay, leave the ball alone and just give it to him.
Yeah.
Okay? You're making way too much fucking noise.
Okay. Can I have some celery sticks?
No, I'm not fucking food.
Okay.
Good G.
Went. The ball didn't go behind there. Of course. I got the ball. It was over on that side.
Get the
right?
fuck away from the TV.
Okay.
Now.
Alright.
Put your fucking keys away.
Okay.
Why is that plugged in there? By the window.
Because it's a weather, has a temperature thing on it.
Get it the fuck away from the window. Unplug it.
Okay.
Put it back where it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be upstairs. So it was upstairs in my room.
It was telling us...
No!
How am I supposed to figure out what the temperature is outside?
Fucking go outside. Fuck.